Well, we've talked a lot about Japan in the Akihabara district. We've talked about maid cafes and the arcades and all that. It's getting rough. Let me tell you something. It is getting rough in that district. You know, you have the issues with the Yakuza. You have the issues with the maid cafes violating laws. You also have what we're going to discuss today about is the arcades shutting down. One thing when you go to Akihabara, you got some great, that's where you can get some mangas, you can get video games. We've discussed Metal Jesus Rocks, another great YouTuber who basically buys video games. He took a trip to Japan and showed everybody, all the stuff that's there, and it's some great stuff. And it's maintained nicely. It's not like some of the places here, which is like it's thrown on the shelf and that's it. Last year, we went through the pandemic. We know last year Sega had to shut down their arcade because even before the pandemic, Sega has been losing traction in the business. I mean, it's to the point where I think Sega is about to get swallowed up by either Microsoft or Sony at this point. And then just early part of this year, Silk Hat Arcade shut down as well. And now one of the other big ones, Adores is now shutting down as well, I think at the end of this month. I mean, reading off from one of the Otaku, Adores is a major arcade located by the Akihabara Station building in Tokyo, but unfortunately it won't be around much longer like the Sega and the Silk Hat. It appears that COVID-19 pandemic has chased away enough people that it can no longer stay open. Adores shared the news on Twitter, writing, "Thank you very much for your continued patronage. Due to various circumstances, we'll be closing on June 30th. We wished to offer our deepest gratitude to our customers and many years of support." I think COVID is part of it. I'm also throwing this into the hat right now, is that basically arcades have been reducing. I mean, you come here to the States, try to find an arcade. There are not that many left. You used to go to the malls, and the malls have been dying out slowly but surely. There are some still arcades still left out there. Or if you go over to a Dave & Buster's, Dave & Buster's have arcades built into their restaurants. But all in through, and also what's left of the Pizza Time Theater, Chuck E. Cheese's, if you have one in your area, is still around if they're not gone yet. The arcade itself, why pay money to go to an arcade and you can get most of these games at home on there, on most of the classics and stuff like that. And that's what some of the thought pattern has been going on. In Japan, they love the arcades. I mean, that's why it still lasted this long. Has it got to the point where it's, what happened here is going to be happening in Japan? It's a possibility that might be a part of it. COVID-19 was the other half of it. But the thing about it is, slowly we're starting to get back into play. I mean, here in the US, everything is all opening up again. And the same thing is probably going to happen in Japan as well. Will it bring back the customer? That is a good question. And that's not something I can answer or anybody else can answer right now. But from what you've seen, we've lost 3 of the biggest arcades in Japan alone. Adores is the biggest shocker. If they're basically, if they were shutting down, that a lot more is going to happen. There are plenty of these throughout Japan, and there are people who live in them. They live in these arcades. There's some good stuff out there. They're still out there. I mean, down where I used to live, where my mother lives, they have a pinball place. It's a great place. It's, you can go in, you pay one price, and you can play pinballs all day long. And then there are some bars and restaurants that have chosen to go toward the arcade route. similar to the Dave and Buster setup, because it does attract a little bit more into there. And we're not talking young kids. We're talking about heavy gamers. You know, there are people who go to bars to play pool. There are those who go in there to play Golden Tee. That's one popular game that's in many bars. If you've been, if you go to your local bar and they have Golden Tee, that means it's popular out there. The other one is Deer Hunter. Deer Hunter was always a popular one in many bars on there. But I mean, are we looking at a change where basically the arcade is finally dying out? I hope not. I mean, that's one fun that should stay around for a long time. Does Disney World still have their arcades? I know down Main Street they had an arcade in there. I have to look that up. I mean, I've seen many videos from Main Street on there from YouTubers, but I've never seen them go into the arcade section, if they're still there. I myself have had many days of fun in the arcades itself. I got in trouble when I was a youngster once on there, because there used to be an arcade on between 34th and 35th. Used to be there, and I was told never hang out in there, never let me catch you in there, because some of the kids in there were not good kids. They were not good kids, but they had some good games in there, and we had some fun. I mean, there were times where kids weren't even allowed in there on certain parts during school hours. But once in a while, you did catch them in there. And the same thing, in the malls. A lot of the times, the malls. I know one I worked in had an arcade, and they did. The mall itself put a presence because of also some violence from the kids, because they used to fight on there. That the kids were not allowed till after school, till like after 3 p.m. And during lunchtime, me and the guys used to go play pinball. They had the Addams Family pinball machine. I love that pinball machine. But now these days, I can play Addams Family on my Xbox. My Xbox, I do have pinball in there, and I did pay the $5 to have the Addams Family added to that pinball. That's the only one I love the best that I play really good with, is the Addams Family one. I love that. And there are other people that do love other games, like Jurassic Park and stuff like that. I mean, what was it? Who had it out? There was one of the other YouTubers, the Daily Woo. He went over to have a pizza at McDonald's. Yes, that's right. McDonald's down in Orlando, Florida, sells pizza at the one at the International Drive. And they're on the second floor. They have an arcade. They have a full working arcade up there with a lot of great games on there as well. So we'll see what happens. What else closes? I mean, Akihabara, like I said, is a major district for all this stuff, and to see some of this stuff go is not good. I mean, how much more can we take as far as losing all these businesses? So you reached this part of the video. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, share this video, support your local YouTube channel, including ours. Hit that subscribe on various other streamers that, gives you a great show. Do support them. We need your help out there. There are a lot of issues that are going on with YouTube. A lot of shadow banning. I've had at least 10 of my episodes shadow banned on there, and I could tell from on there. I mean, when you go from a 700 episode viewers to practically down to single digits, that's not good. That's not good at all. So once again, thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye now.